Sparkling heart, I've always loved you. Jimin falls silent as Jungkook plays the love tape his kept for years headphone loudly crying face revolving. Hearts episode don't press play, Jimin said, breathless, his voice trembling against the crackle of the old stereo, but it was too late. The tape spun, and a boy's voice, timid, aching, filled the dim room like a ghost returning home. If you're listening to this, it means I was never brave enough to tell you in person. But Jimin, I've always loved you. Jungkook didn't flinch. He stared at the stereo, his jaw tense, fingers curled around the casing like it might fall apart if he let go. The air in the dormitory room turned to glass, fragile, still, and one breath away from shattering. Jimin stood frozen, drenched in disbelief. His mind sprinted back years, crashing through forgotten summer days, distant laughter, and late-night songs they used to share under the same roof, back when love was still an unspoken thing stitched in silence. Why do you have this? Jimin finally whispered, voice raw. Jungkook didn't look at him. Because I couldn't let go. Rain tapped at the windows like a memory trying to get in. Outside, the world moved on. Inside, time had collapsed into that single sentence on the tape, looping in Jimin's ears like a cruel echo. I've always loved you. Jimin remembered the first time they met, the boy with the camera eyes and a smile like a secret. Jungkook had always been younger, quieter, but there was something in him, some deeper storm beneath the calm. He remembered the glances across the dance studio, the shared water bottles, the way Jungkook would stay behind to watch him finish choreographed. He never knew. Or maybe he had, but hearing it now, from a version of Jungkook that existed in another time, more innocent, more afraid, felt like someone had taken a piece of his past and rewritten it in ink. I recorded that 7 years ago, Jungkook said, turning to face him for the first time. His eyes didn't waver. Back when I thought I'd never get the chance to love you properly. Jimin's throat tightened. And you never meant for me to hear it? He asked. No, Jungkook admitted, voice soft. But I couldn't throw it away either. The silence that followed wasn't empty, it was heavy, thick with everything unspoken between them. Jimin could hear the tape spinning still, static humming softly in the background like a heartbeat. The past had just walked in, uninvited, and now neither of them knew how to close the door. The room felt colder somehow. Jimin stepped back, his arms folding across his chest like a shield. All these years, why didn't you say anything? I tried, Jungkook said. 100 times. But we were always on the edge of something, debut, fame, pressure, chaos. I didn't want to ruin what we had. And now? Jimin asked, tears threatening behind his voice. Jungkook stepped closer. Now I'm tired of pretending. Jimin looked away. His heart pounded in confusion and regret. 1,000 thoughts spiraled. What ifs, missed chances, the way he used to wonder if Jungkook's lingering looks meant anything more. He remembered a moment backstage. 3 years ago, Jungkook had brushed his fingers against Jimin's and held them just a second too long. Jimin had pulled away, laughing it off, not daring to hope. He buried it deep, like so many things they weren't allowed to feel. Now it all rose back up, fierce and alive. I need air, Jimin muttered, brushing past him, but Jungkook caught his wrist, not forcefully, but firmly, like someone anchoring himself to something he wasn't ready to lose again. Please don't run, Jungkook said. I'm not running, Jimin replied. I'm remembering. He paused at the door, glancing back at the tape player still humming its quiet song. The ghost of Jungkook's younger voice floated in the air again. Even if you never feel the same, I had to say it. Just once. I love you. Jimin blinked, and something cracked inside. He opened the door, the hallway light spilling into the room like a wound, and walked out, not because he was rejecting Jungkook, but because he needed to know what his heart had buried for so long. The door slammed shut behind him, the hallway stretching long and silent as Jimin fled from the weight of that room, the voice on that tape, and the boy whose eyes had begged him to stay. His heartbeat echoed louder than his footsteps. Every breath was shallow, tight, like there wasn't enough air in the whole damn dorm to contain what had just happened. He took the stairs instead of the elevator, needing motion, friction, something that would ground him. His fingers trembled as he reached the bottom floor, and when he stepped outside, the cold hit him like a slap. The rain had turned the pavement slick and glistening, city lights melting into puddles that mirrored his fractured thoughts. I've always loved you. He had heard confessions before, from fans, from strangers, even from fleeting lovers. But this was something else. This was Jungkook, The person who had been his shadow, his silence, his constant. This was a memory revived from the dead, and now it refused to be buried again. Jimin's phone buzzed. JK, where did you go? JK, please don't shut me out. JK, say something. Anything. He stared at the messages. His thumb hovered, but he couldn't find words. Because nothing felt real yet. He needed time. He needed Jimin Hyung. He turned, startled. Jungkook stood there, soaked to the bone, breathing hard like he'd chased him the whole way down. His dark hair clung to his forehead, water dripping down his jaw, his black hoodie plastered against his chest like a second skin. What the hell, Jungkook? Jimin snapped. Why would you follow me? Because I meant it, Jungkook shot back, voice hoarse. And I'm not letting this end in silence. Not again. This isn't a movie. Jimin's voice cracked, echoing off the walls of the parking structure. You don't get to drop a bomb like that and expect me to what? Kiss you in the rain? I didn't expect anything, Jungkook growled. But you deserve the truth. And you waited 7 years. Jimin's anger flared. 7 years, Jungkook. While we, his voice broke, Jungkook stepped closer. I was scared. I was 17 when I recorded that tape. I didn't even know who I was yet. And then, everything exploded. BTS happened. The world watched us. I couldn't even breathe without someone reading into it. I get it, Jimin said, softer now. We gave up our privacy. Our freedom. But you and I, whatever this was, we had something real, didn't we? Jungkook nodded, silent. I thought I was imagining it, Jimin continued, voice shaky. Every time you looked at me like you saw something no one else did. I thought I was being stupid. You weren't. They stood there, dripping in the silence between thunderclouds, the city muffled by the rain. I loved you too, Jimin said suddenly, voice barely above the downpour. Maybe not from the beginning. But somewhere along the way. I did. Jungkook's eyes glistened. But you didn't say it, Jungkook said, not accusing, just broken. Neither did you, Jimin whispered. They stared at each other, the years between them heavy with regret. The things unsaid, the moments lost to fear. A car drove by, splashing water at their feet, snapping them out of their trance. I can't do this here, Jimin said, running a hand through his wet hair. Let's go somewhere else. Where? Jungkook asked. Anywhere that isn't haunted by that damn tape. They ended up in an all-night diner far enough from the dorm that no one would recognize them. They took a corner booth, hoods up, voices low. The fluorescent lights buzzed overhead, and the scent of burnt coffee and fried food clung to the cracked vinyl seats. I kept the tape in my drawer for years, Jungkook said, stirring his drink without drinking. Even after I moved out of the dorms. I carried it everywhere. I think a part of me hoped you'd find it someday. But I didn't, Jimin said. You showed me. Jungkook looked at him, something wounded in his gaze. Because I couldn't take it anymore. I see the way you look at me now. It's not the same. Jimin swallowed. Because things changed. You changed. Jimin met his eyes. So did you. The air between them was thick again, but not like before. This time it was laced with tension, not just of longing, but of accusation, betrayal, aching. I dated someone, Jimin admitted. Last year. You probably figured it out. Jungkook looked away. Yeah. I did. It didn't last, Jimin added. I think, part of me was trying to erase you. Jungkook didn't respond. You jealous? Jimin asked, half a tease, half a dare. Every fucking day, Jungkook said without flinching. Jimin exhaled sharply, caught off guard. You think I didn't notice when you started keeping your distance? Jungkook continued, his voice low, raw. You started wearing your smiles like masks. You stopped asking me to hang out alone. I missed you before I even lost you. I was protecting myself, Jimin said. From you. Jungkook's lips parted in a silent protest, but no words came out. And now you play me a tape from your teenage years like it's supposed to fix everything? Jimin asked. What are we even doing, Jungkook? I don't know, Jungkook said, honest. But I know I don't want to lie anymore. Even if it's too late. A beat of silence. It's not too late, Jimin said quietly. But it's going to hurt. A lot. They didn't touch. They didn't move. But something shifted between them, like a bridge burned had been rebuilt with trembling hands and fireproof promises. Jimin reached for his phone. "I need time," he said. "Not to figure out how I feel, but to figure out if I'm brave enough to face it this time." "I'll wait," Jungkook said. "Even if it's another 7 years." Jimin smiled, sad and small. "Don't be dramatic. We've wasted enough time already." When they left the diner, the rain had stopped. The city was still, like it had paused just for them. They didn't hold hands. They didn't speak. But as they walked side by side, Jimin realized something terrifying and true. He had never stopped loving him. He had just been too scared to listen. "You kissed him." The words dropped like shards of glass on concrete, brittle and unforgiving. Jimin froze in the doorway of Jungkook's apartment, the keys still dangling in his hand, rainwater dripping from his coat. His heart stumbled in his chest, and for a second, the silence was so thick it rang in his ears. "What did you just say?" he asked, slowly turning around. Jungkook stood in the middle of the living room, fists clenched, jaw sharp with restrained fury. His voice was steady, but his eyes betrayed him, wide, stormy, cracked. "You kissed Yoongijungkook," he repeated, quieter now. "Last week. After rehearsals." The door clicked shut behind Jimin, and the sound felt final. "That's not what you think," Jimin said, voice tight. "Oh?" Jungkook took a step forward. "Then please, tell me exactly what the hell I'm supposed to think when I walk in and see you two like that." "It was a mistake," Jimin said quickly. "It didn't mean anything. You don't just accidentally kiss someone, Jimin." Jimin flinched. Jungkook's voice had broken, the anger spilling over into something more dangerous, raw betrayal. Not the kind that screamed, but the kind that ached. Jimin stepped out of his shoes, walking slowly into the room like he was approaching a wounded animal. "I was confused," he said. "You had just played me that damn tape. My head was spinning. Yoongi was there. He saw me, he listened. I didn't know what to do with everything you threw at me." "So you kissed him?" Jungkook asked, laughing bitterly. "That's how you sort your feelings out?" Jimin's hands trembled. "No," he said. "It was impulsive. I pulled away. I told him it wasn't right." "Did he try to stop you?" Jungkook asked. Jimin's silence gave him the answer. "Of course not," Jungkook said, pacing now. "Because why would he? He's always had a thing for you." "That's not fair. Isn't it?" Jungkook whipped around. "You think I haven't seen the way he looks at you? How he finds reasons to touch your arm or whisper in your ear when I'm right fucking there?" Jimin exhaled, rubbing his temple. "This isn't about Yoongi." "No," Jungkook snapped. "It's about you. And the fact that I bled for 7 years to keep my love quiet, and the moment I let it out, you run into someone else's arms." "I didn't run," Jimin shouted back. "I stumbled. There's a difference." Jungkook stared at him, his voice came low, strangled. "Did you feel anything when you kissed him?" Jimin's mouth opened. Closed. "And then, yes," he said. "But not what you think. I felt lost. Like I was trying to crawl into someone else's skin because mine didn't feel like mine anymore. You opened up something inside me that I wasn't ready to face. I panicked." Jungkook looked like he might cry. But he didn't. He just sat down, suddenly exhausted. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked. "I didn't know how," Jimin whispered. "I would have forgiven you," Jungkook said. "If you had come to me." "I'm here now," Jimin said. "Tell me what you want me to do." There was a long pause, then Jungkook looked up at him with hollow eyes. "I want you to hurt like I do." The sentence punched the air out of Jimin's lungs. "I already do," he said. Jungkook looked away. The room was cold, dim. The TV was on mute, flickering colors across the walls like a heartbeat no one could hear. The rain outside had turned violent again, slashing against the windows like nails. Jimin crossed the room and sat beside Jungkook. "I didn't come here to fight," he said. "Then why did you come?" Jungkook asked. "Because I don't know if I can be near you without wondering if you'll run to someone else again." "I came," Jimin said, "because I love you. And because I'm done hiding from that." Jungkook turned his head slowly. "You sure it's not just guilt?" "Guilt doesn't feel like this," Jimin said. "This is something else. This is me looking at you and knowing I'd burn everything to the ground if it meant you'd believe me." Jungkook blinked. I don't know how to trust you now, he admitted. Then start with tonight, Jimin said. Start with now. Let me earn it. Not because I owe you, but because I want to. Jungkook hesitated. Then, finally, he reached out and placed a hand on Jimin's. Not tightly. Not possessively. Just there. A quiet reminder that something hadn't broken entirely. You scare the hell out of me, he whispered. Jimin looked at him, eyes glassy. Same, he said. They sat there for hours, not speaking. Just existing in the same space. Letting the truth settle in the cracks of their silence. Letting pain and possibility curl around each other like smoke, but deep beneath it all, something shifted, something dangerous, because what neither of them knew, what neither of them could know, was that Yoongi hadn't walked away empty-handed after that kiss. He had a video and it was already in the wrong hands. The internet didn't explode. It detonated. It started at 2:43 a.m. A Twitter account with no profile picture, no followers, just a string of numbers and letters for a name, posted a grainy video clip no longer than 15 seconds. 15 seconds was all it took. A kiss. Jimin's hand in Yoongi's hair, his lips pressed desperately against his hyung's, eyes shut tight like he was begging for the world to disappear. It wasn't just a kiss, it was need, it was raw, it was undeniable. The tweet read, Jimin and Yoongi. No more lies. By 3:07 a.m., it had gone viral. Hashtags erupted, theories churned like wildfire. Dispatch had already called Big Hit's PR line twice. Fan forums split like tectonic plates, some screaming betrayal, others crying manipulation, and others just silent in disbelief. The timelines filled with clips, debates, tears, demands, denial. At 3:15 a.m., Jungkook woke up to hell. His phone vibrated like it was possessed, blowing up with calls, texts, notifications. He rubbed his eyes, still groggy from sleep, and opened Twitter. His screen was a wall of Jimin's name in every font and language, and then he saw it. He hit play. Froze. Watched the clip in silence, and then he laughed. Not because it was funny, but because the pain had numbed him so deeply he no longer knew how else to respond. Across the city, Jimin was in a meeting room at the company, flanked by managers, legal representatives, and Namjoon, who looked more furious than anyone had seen him in years. Do you have any idea what you've done? Namjoon snapped, slamming a folder onto the table. Jimin sat stone-faced, hands clasped together, eyes dull. It was a mistake, he said. One that already happened. Now it's just being weaponized. Namjoon exhaled sharply. You kissed a member, Jimin. In a public space. During comeback season. And you think damage control is going to fix this? Jimin didn't answer. Someone else in the room spoke up, a manager whose voice was clipped and cold. We've traced the leak. The original video came from a hidden phone placed behind the rehearsal studio mirror. That studio's supposed to be secure, Namjoon growled. It was Yoongi's phone, the manager said flatly. The room fell silent. Jimin blinked. What? We confirmed the device ID. The footage was backed up to his private cloud. Someone accessed it. We don't know how or why, but it was his. Jimin's stomach dropped. No, he said. No, Yoongi wouldn't. The silence in the room disagreed with him. Where is he now? Namjoon demanded. On a flight to Osaka. Solo schedule. Of course, Namjoon muttered. Running. Jimin pushed back from the table, his chair scraping loudly. I need to talk to Jungkook. Not now, said the manager. We need to handle. I don't care what you need, Jimin snapped, standing. If I don't talk to him now, I might lose him for good. He stormed out of the room before anyone could stop him. Jungkook didn't open the door. Jimin knocked until his knuckles ached, but the apartment remained quiet, lights off, blinds closed. Please, he whispered against the wood. Please just yell at me if you have to. Hate me. But don't shut me out again. The door creaked open slowly. Jungkook stood there, in sweatpants and a hoodie, hair a mess, eyes bloodshot and tired. There was no warmth in him, just exhaustion and something far colder. You should have told me the whole truth, he said. You said you pulled away. I did, Jimin said. It just didn't happen as fast as it should have. That video makes it look like you wanted more than a moment. Jimin stepped inside. The room smelled like cold tea and missed meals. The TV played static, muted. A blanket lay abandoned on the couch. I'm not here to make excuses, Jimin said. I'm here because I need you to hear this from me, not the internet. Jungkook sat down without inviting him. You said you'd never lie to me, he said. But you didn't tell me Yoongi kissed you back. You didn't tell me he recorded it. I didn't know. Jimin cried out. I found out this morning. It wasn't supposed to be a god. I didn't think he. Do you still have feelings for him? Jungkook asked suddenly. No, are you sure? Yes. Because I've been second place my whole life, Jungkook said. To the group, to the fans, to everyone. I can't be second place to him too. Jimin sat across from him, knees almost touching. You're not second, he said. You've never been second. I don't believe you. I know, Jimin whispered. And that's what kills me. They sat in silence. I saw you, Jungkook said after a long pause. That night. After the tape. You looked like you were ready to let the past go. Like we finally had a chance. We still do, Jimin said. But not if you shut down. You don't get it, Jungkook said. This isn't just about us anymore. This is out there now. People are watching. Judging. Shipping. Hating. Do you know what they're calling me? Jimin looked away. They're calling me stupid, Jungkook said. For loving you. For trusting you. For being blind. You're not blind, Jimin said. You're brave. You always have been. Jungkook's jaw tensed. Then why does it feel like I'm the only one bleeding? Jimin reached forward and took his hand. Because I haven't shown you my wounds, he said. But they are there. Jungkook looked at their intertwined fingers. What do we do now? We fight, Jimin said. Not each other. Together. Jungkook's voice cracked. What if we lose everything? Jimin tightened his grip. Then let it burn. And somewhere deep in Seoul's wired underbelly, someone watched the chaos unfold on 3 screens, pausing, zooming, rewinding. A shadow in a private chat sent another file. The caption read, "You think the kiss was bad? Wait till they see what happens next. You need to get out of the car." Jimin blinked, the morning sun cutting sharp across his face. The van had stopped just outside the company building, surrounded by a huddle of men in suits and earpieces. The driver didn't meet his gaze. What? Jimin asked, still bleary from the sleepless night inside. Now. Jimin stepped out. Flashes. Cameras. Screams. The moment his foot hit the pavement, it was like someone detonated reality. Paparazzi swarming from behind the parked cars, fans crying, security yelling, his name echoing in overlapping tongues. Jimin, is it true you're dating Sugar? What does this mean for BTS? Where's Jungkook? He ducked his head, flanked by 2 bodyguards as they pushed through the crowd, shielding him from a woman trying to shove a printed photo of the kiss into his face. The company lobby doors slammed behind them, silence cocooning him like ice, and then he saw her. The CEO. She stood at the end of the hall, arms crossed, flanked by 2 lawyers and a man Jimin didn't recognize. Her heels clicked sharply as she turned and walked without a word. Jimin followed. They ended up in the executive conference room. It smelled like money and panic. The blinds were shut, but the buzz of the outside world seeped in through the walls like a hive just outside reach. The CEO didn't sit. This is a crisis, she said. And not just for you. For the brand. For the company. For every shareholder betting their life on your image. Jimin stood his ground. I never asked to be a goddamn product. You signed a contract, she snapped. You signed away control of your narrative the moment you stepped onto that stage. You knew this. That contract doesn't own my heart. Does it own your scandals? She asked coolly. Because right now, they're bleeding us. I didn't leak the video, he said. I didn't even know it existed. She slid a folder across the table. He opened it. Screenshots, multiple. Blurry, time-stamped images from their dorm. Jungkook kissing his forehead. Him sleeping in Jungkook's lap. Hints. Moments. Private things that were never supposed to see the light. He looked up, gut twisting. Where did you get these? We didn't, she said. They were sent to a journalist. Anonymously. But the message was clear. Blackmail, one of the lawyers said. No, the stranger finally spoke, his voice deep, slick with something too smooth to be trusted. It's a game. Jimin narrowed his eyes. Who are you? Crisis architect, the man replied. I've been called in to manage what happens next. I don't need managing. The man smiled. You will. Jimin sat down slowly. You have two options, the CEO said. We bury this. Deny everything. Say it was fan-edited. Deep fake. Anything. We erase the tape and control the story. And Jungkook. You sever ties with him. Publicly. Jimin's breath caught. No, you kiss Yoongi in front of the world. We spin a fake narrative, heartbreak, misunderstanding, redemption. We give the people drama. A soap opera. That sells. I said no. Then here's option 2, she continued, her voice colder now. You go public. Admit everything. That you and Jungkook have had a private relationship for years. The room froze, the weight of that sentence hung in the air like a suspended axe. You know what that would do, Jimin said, heart racing. To him. To me. To everything. She nodded. But it would be honest. And ruinous. Sometimes ruin is cleansing. Jimin stood. I need to talk to him. He deserves to decide, too. You have 24 hours, the man in the suit said. After that, the next file leaks. Jimin left without another word. By the time he reached Jungkook's apartment, his hands were shaking. Jungkook opened the door, already bracing for something heavy. They gave me a choice, Jimin said as soon as the door shut. Jungkook nodded once, solemn. I figured. They want me to denounce you. Or confess everything. Confess, Jungkook said. No hesitation. Jimin's eyes widened. You want that? I'm done hiding, Jungkook said. If this ends us, then fine. But I'm not letting strangers rewrite our story. They'll destroy you, Jimin warned. Us coming out. It won't be romantic. It'll be violent. Good, Jungkook said. Let them choke on the truth. Jimin sat on the couch, burying his face in his hands. What if it kills the group? Jungkook walked over, knelt in front of him. What if pretending kills us first? They stayed like that for a moment, two hearts between landmines. Then Jungkook whispered, Do you love me? Jimin didn't look up. You know I do. Then say it, Jungkook said. Out loud. Not in whispers. Not in letters. Say it like you'd say goodbye. Jimin raised his head slowly. I love you, he said. And I'm terrified. Jungkook nodded. Me too. They kissed, not like the first time. Not like the tape. Not like the kiss with Yoongi, fast and confusing. This one was slow. Sincere. Tired. Brave. The kind of kiss people write endings around, but outside their fragile world. The next file uploaded. Not a kiss. A voice. Yoongi's voice. I didn't mean to record it, it said. But if they're going to make me the villain, I'll make sure the truth destroys them both. The audio leaked at 2 p.m. sharp. No video. No headline. Just a link posted on a private forum and then immediately screenshot, ripped, copied, reshared by the second. By 2:08, it had been translated into 6 languages. By 2:15, international fan accounts had already turned it into a trending global topic. Yoongi's voice. Calm. Cold. Calculated. I didn't mean to record it. But maybe I kept it anyway. Because I knew what it meant. I knew Jimin would never be able to say what he wanted. That he'd keep hiding in Jungkook's shadow until someone forced him into the light. And if they're going to make me the villain, then fine. Let the truth destroy them both. Jungkook stood in the middle of the living room, the phone shaking in his hand as he listened. Again. And again Jimin sat on the edge of the couch, his spine stiff as steel, his breath shallow. He planned it, Jungkook finally said. He planned all of this. No, Jimin muttered. No, he wouldn't. You're still protecting him, Jungkook snapped. Even after this. I'm not protecting him, Jimin said. I'm trying to understand why someone I trusted with my life would set fire to it. Jungkook laughed bitterly. Trust. That's funny. Because it seems like you trusted him more than you ever trusted me. That's not true. Then why was he the one you ran to after the tape? Jimin stood abruptly. Because you scared me. That silenced the room. Jungkook blinked. What? You scared me, Jimin repeated, voice trembling. Because no one has ever loved me that openly. That honestly. And when I looked into your eyes, I saw forever. I wasn't ready for forever, Jungkook. I was barely ready for tomorrow. Jungkook's shoulders slumped. So you chose someone safer. I chose a mistake, Jimin admitted. But not because I loved him. Because I didn't know how to love you without destroying myself. Jungkook walked toward the window, stared out at the clouds rolling in like bruises. And now I don't care if it destroys me, Jimin said. Because I'd rather fall with you than keep standing without you. The rain started again. A soft patter, as if the sky was trying to calm them both. Jungkook turned, eyes glassy. He said he kept the video to help you. He kept the video to control me, Jimin said, bitter. He wanted me to owe him. He wanted to matter more than he did. A pause. Then why do I still feel like the one who's been betrayed? Jungkook asked. Jimin moved closer, placed a hand on his chest. Because love makes you bleed from wounds you can't see. A knock, then another urgent. Repeated. Jungkook opened the door. Taehyung stood on the other side, soaked and panting, his phone in his hand, his eyes wild. You need to see this, he said. Now. They crowded around the screen. A new leak. This time, from an anonymous email sent to a popular entertainment reporter. The attachment? A full, uncut, 17-minute video. Yoongi. In a hotel room. Speaking directly to the camera. You want the truth? Fine. Here's the truth. Jungkook knew about the tape years ago. He found it when we moved dorms. He never said anything because he was afraid it would make him look weak. He waited, let Jimin suffer in silence, just so he could feel in control when he finally confessed. You think I'm the villain? I'm the only one who ever told Jimin the truth to his face. I told him Jungkook would never love him without conditions. I told him that love from someone like that always has strings. The camera angle shifted. And Jimin is a coward. He kissed me because he wanted to feel wanted. Not because he loved me. And I let him. Because for 1 second, I wanted to know what it felt like to be chosen first. Jimin gasped. Taehyung's mouth dropped open. Jungkook's hands turned into fists at his sides. Yoongi's voice dropped lower. Darker. Let the world burn. At least I won't be the only one inside the fire. The clip ended. Taehyung turned off the phone slowly. The silence in the apartment was unbearable. That can't be real, Jimin whispered. It is, Jungkook said. You heard him. His spiraling, Taehyung said. That wasn't Yoongi. Not really. His breaking. You know he's been on the edge for a while. He made us the edge, Jungkook growled. And he pushed. Jimin sat down, his body folding in on itself. He called me a coward. Jungkook knelt beside him. You're not. He's not wrong, Jimin said, voice thin. I've been hiding for years. You were surviving. No, Jimin said, looking at him. I was waiting. For you. To say the words. Well, I'm saying them now, Jungkook whispered. I love you. No games. No edits. No cameras. Just me. Jimin closed his eyes. I love you too, he whispered. Even when it hurts. A ding from Taehyung's phone. He checked it. Froze. What now? Jungkook asked. Taehyung swallowed. Yoongi's live. Right now. They grabbed the remote, switched to the feed. Yoongi sat in a dark hotel room, lit only by the laptop screen in front of him. His hair was messy. His eyes red. Thousands of viewers were already commenting. No one spoke. Yoongi looked into the camera. I didn't leak the first video, he said. But I did send the second. And now I'm sending this. He reached off camera, pulled out a folder. Inside this are all the contracts. All the NDAs. All the secrets. If I disappear after this, you'll know why. Jimin stood up, heart racing. Don't do this, he said to the screen. Please don't do this. Yoongi opened the folder and then he smiled, but it wasn't the smile of someone seeking redemption. It was the smile of someone with nothing left to lose. Let's talk about what really happened in Tokyo. The screen froze. Yoongi's live feed collapsed into static as the platform suddenly cut off. The comment section spiraled into chaos, flooded with panicked viewers, hashtags, wild speculation, and desperate questions. For a moment, it was like time skipped a breath. Then everything exploded. Jungkook stood frozen, remote in hand, eyes still locked on the blank screen. His knuckles were white. Jimin's breathing turned shallow. Taehyung paced behind them, his phone already ringing with calls from the company, managers, press. Tokyo, Jimin murmured. What did he mean by Tokyo? Jungkook didn't answer. Couldn't, because he remembered a hotel suite. A night 3 years ago. The lights of Tokyo stretching outside the glass like a city of secrets. He remembered the rooftop. The quiet. The moment he almost told Jimin everything, before fame got louder, and fear got heavier. And Yoongi had been there too, drinking silently on the balcony, watching. Always watching. Jimin turned toward Jungkook, his voice trembling. There's something you're not telling me. Jungkook swallowed hard. I was going to tell you, he said. Tell me what? Jimin's voice cracked. Yoongi had recorded more than a kiss that year. He had recorded a conversation. A conversation Jungkook never knew was being recorded. It had been late. Jungkook had been drunk. He'd poured his heart out to Yoongi on the rooftop, slurred and angry, sobbing about Jimin, how he loved him, how he couldn't take it anymore, how he wanted to quit everything just to stop pretending, and then he said it. If Jimin ever finds out what I've done, he'll never forgive me. That was the secret Yoongi had hinted at. Jimin stared at him now, eyes wide. What did you do? Jungkook closed his eyes. In Tokyo, he began, voice thin, I told the company to separate us. I asked them to change our schedules. I couldn't take it anymore, being close to you and pretending it meant nothing. I thought if I put distance between us, I could kill the feeling. You asked them to separate us? Jimin whispered. I didn't know what else to do, Jungkook said. I was breaking. Jimin took a step back. That year, he said. When I thought I'd done something wrong, when you started avoiding me, I thought I wasn't enough. I didn't mean for it to feel like that, but it did, Jimin snapped. You made me question everything. And you never told me why. I was ashamed. Jimin's hands were shaking now. And you let me think I was the problem. I thought I was protecting you. No, Jimin said, eyes hardening. You were protecting yourself. The silence that followed was heavy, final. Taehyung looked between them, speechless. Jungkook didn't move. I'm sorry, he said. For everything. I believe you, Jimin said. But that doesn't fix it. He turned to leave. Jungkook reached out, but stopped himself. His fingers curled in midair, helpless. Where are you going? He asked. I don't know, Jimin said. Somewhere that isn't here. And then he was gone. A week passed. Yoongi's livestream was never reposted. The original file vanished. Some said it was wiped by legal forces. Others believed he did it himself. He didn't disappear, but he didn't speak again either, not publicly, not to the members. The company issued vague statements. The fandom fractured, rumors turned to myths, and eventually, silence. But in that silence, something else bloomed. Jimin took time away. He traveled. Alone. He went to places he'd once dreamed of seeing with Jungkook. He walked through crowded cities where no one knew his name. And somewhere between the chaos and the calm, he began to write letters. He never sent them. They were raw, ugly, beautiful things, pages full of anger and longing and memories too sharp to forget. He wrote about the first time Jungkook touched his hand. About the way Yoongi's silence used to feel like safety. About the tape. About the kiss. About Tokyo. And then one day, he wrote just one sentence. I loved you before I knew what love was, and maybe that was the problem. He folded that letter and left it on the cafe table in Florence. Walked out. Never looked back. Back in Seoul, Jungkook stood on stage alone. It was a secret event. No cameras. No fanfare. Just a guitar and a mic. I wrote this song when I thought I'd lost everything, he said. But now I think I was just beginning to understand it. He played soft. Heartbreaking. His voice cracked on the second verse, and in the back of the room, unnoticed by most, Jimin stood with his hands in his coat pockets, eyes glistening. They didn't speak that night. Didn't run to each other, but when Jungkook looked up and their eyes met, something passed between them. Not forgiveness, not yet. But maybe something even rarer, hope. The story didn't end with a kiss. It ended with a truth, unfiltered, unfixed, unfinished, just like love itself.